Good afternoon. I have many letters from my foreign partners and colleagues who ask me what really happened in Ukraine and what I plan to do, and also what Ukrainian society plan to do. So I'm do a short video for all of you, and it will be quite analytical video, and I hope quite optimistic video. So what happened now about Ukraine? As you know, Russia and Belarus have big military exercises near border of Ukraine, and number of military servants near our border, near border of Ukraine, it's more than 100,000 people, which is quite a lot, and it's quite unique situation for modern history. So big military exercises and so big concentration of power near Ukrainian border, and that's why all diplomacy rounds start from this point, from point of concentration of military servants near Ukrainian border. As you know, in Ukraine we have more than 8 years situation of hybrid war with Russia. It's happened after annexion of Crimea by fake referendum on this territory, and also by military activity of pro-Russian activists in Donetsk and Lugansk region, and they trying to build quasi-republics there on this territory. And I said that still, even today, we have problems with military activity from that territory. For example, today it was bombing of kindergarten, and bombing of school. It was 8 kilometers from the border between these quasi territories, and Ukrainian side. So it's bad news, but what we have on diplomacy way in this situation. So in Ukraine, President Zelensky holds a lot of meetings with worldwide leader like Boris Johnson, like Mr. Erdogan. Also, Mr. Biden have contact with Mr. Zelensky, and of course Mr. Scholz from Germany was here in Ukraine, and we have also many visits of high diplomacy servants from United States of America here in Ukraine, and also we of course communicate with OSCE and their monitoring mission. But still, I'm not so optimistic about that. Why? Because I'm looked through all press conferences, and of course press conference of Mr. Biden, which we can saw the day before yesterday, and for sure press conference between Mr. Scholz and Mr. Putin, and they talking about diplomacy way of solution of this situation. But still today we have bombing of kindergarten, and two persons who work there has damage of health because of this bombing. So it's about childs, and I understand that it can happen before Munich defense conference, but still it's about this diplomacy way. Why it's not so quick as we want? Yeah, because even every the most powerful Western politician work on this question, but why it's not so effective. I have some position about that. So firstly, It's economic questions which, for example, Putin and leaders of Germany has, for example, Nord Stream 2. Because as you know now, on standby steady process of certification of Nord Stream, and people who live in Germany wanted to buy cheaper gas, and German business wanna cheaper gas and cheaper carbons from Russia, and Russia also has arguments, and Putin said that argument on his press conference that he give the best conditions for Germany for long-term contracts. And of course, it's quote, German people maybe don't want to buy gas, for example, 4 or 5 times more expensive than now. And it's, ultimatum, I think, from Putin. And of course, it's hard situation for Ukraine, because we understand that Nord Stream 2 also potentially can take 2 billions from our budget, because on Ukraine we have also a transit system for gas, and it's using for transportation of gas from Russia to Europe. That's why for us it matters, and for Poland it matters, and for other countries. And of course, many German politicians can said that it's only economical project, and Putin said that it's only economical project. But still, now if Western politicians talk to us about sanctions, it's talking about Nord Stream 2, of course. Second question, it's of course question of balance of defenses. And as you know, when Biden and Putin met first time, they signed some documents about this defense balance. But questions which Putin wants, it's like not moving forward NATO and not including new countries to NATO. It's quite polemic thing, because it must be solution of countries who won't be in NATO or other military blocs, or don't want, and that's why also question of Ukraine, and one of the cards about our question is question of balance of these defenses, of course. And third question, it's quote like, okay, we will hold big and very painful sanctions if it will be a full Russian invasion, so like war from Russian, because now we also have hybrid war, but we have war when Russia invests and give money, for example, to terrorists, to people on the territory, to military people on the territory of Donetsk, Lugansk region, or to some bloggers when their hackers do cyber attacks. So all these issues, it's issues of hybrid war. Because on documents, it's like not Russia, it's independent people on that side, which wanna their independent state, like quasi-republic, but it's like pro-Russian. And that's why in Norman formats and in Minsk formats, Russia not a side who do violence and who do war. Russia like side of regulation of this project. That's why I'm not believe, and mostly Ukrainians don't believe to global invasion of direct Russian forces, military forces, because it will be war. And I don't believe in starting of Third World War. And I think that mostly people who do political analytics in the world understand this point. But unfortunately, mostly of Ukrainians believe of continuing this hybrid war, and it's totally bad for our economy. I think that you can read all information about this potential invasion in American press, in worldwide press, and of course every Ukrainian read this situation. Some people leave country because they're afraid. Why embassies go from Ukraine? Why insurance companies stop insurance for aircrafts, and so on and so forth. And mostly people also in Ukraine has not stable situation. What to do? Even, for example, I'm from southern Ukraine, and of course people in southern Ukraine, in eastern Ukraine, and in territory who are near the territory of Donetsk and Lugansk region, which occupied by pro-Russian terrorists, they really understand that it can be escalation by pro-Russian terrorists, which we today saw on bombing of kindergarten, and you can Google and find also how it happened. It happened without warning in international press. It happened without warning from Russia side. It just happened, and it's about our child. I also have child in Kiev kindergarten, and of course I cares about it. And why I explain this situation from Ukrainian side also to you, because I'm working in public policy, and I'm quite good professional in lobbying, in political management, and I understand that global political issues, it's about interest, and it's about money for economy of every country, and it's question of balance of powers, and for example of United States of America and their interest, and of course their competitors like China, and it can be about energy system of Europe and about energy benefits of Germany, but still it's about our childs, and it's about childs near this territory. So what the next can happen, and what can happen also in Kiev, on my point of view. So I think that the next steps will be unfortunately hybrid war, and maybe escalation of that territories. And also, if you watching this video, and if you can help to do public diplomacy, and to do pressure to Russia, and to do information campaign in your countries, that okay, we understand that you wanna buy gas cheaper, and if that you wanna pay for your household lower, but it's also about childs. And believe me, every politician orients to voters of their country. And of course, mostly voters in United States and in Germany don't know what really happened in Ukraine, and who live in Ukraine, and what is about this country, and so on. So of course, I understand it clearly. But if you can share analytical issues, if you can share this video, if you can do some public diplomacy to help us in this way of public diplomacy, it will be good thing for also for Ukrainian people. Secondly, of course, it's can be cooler discussion about pressure to our power today to implement Minsk agreement. You can find text of Minsk agreement in internet. It's quite easy to find it. And why Ukrainian society mostly against this implementation? Because firstly, the first step of implementation of this agreement is, of course, stopping of using weapons on that territory. And today we have bombing of kindergarten. So first steps, it's not reality in real life. Yeah. So sometimes we have we have bombings, and we have using that weapons that can be used by Minsk agreement. It's very important. And second point, if you also now open this document, you can see that it's amnestia of mostly people who taken part in battles, and who taken part in that organizations, pro-Russian terrorists. Of course, elections and change in Ukrainian constitution. You can see details if you're interested in. And of course, Ukrainians understand that it will be more pro-Russian influence from that territory, also to our municipal power, to our central power, and that's why we warn about it, and we warn about Steinmeier's plan, which also plan of implementation of Minsk agreements. But on every international conference, we saw only message that now Minsk it's only one way of diplomacy implementation. So also, if it's one way, let's start from first point. First point, it's stopping military activity, like activity today on kindergarten. So I will for me it's will be pleasure and to give you more information, analytical information, pulls from Ukraine, maybe other speakers, to international press, or some other aspects of public diplomacy, to give more information about Ukraine and what's happened here in Ukraine. I hope that we also will discuss these questions on our future. Hope it will be meetings in United States and in my conversation with partners from European Union. But still, please look more deeply to the situation in Ukraine. And if you have influence to your voters, to NGOs in your country, help us to build this productive communication. And communication not only about pragmatic interest, but also communication when we can stop this war and stop also stop more deaths, because now it's more than 14,000 people died because of this hybrid war in Ukraine. Thank you so much. I will be happy to communicate with you next time, and if you have questions, please send to me a message, for example here, or to LinkedIn, and take care. Peace to you.